Welcome you. Today, we're doing a really deep dive into the Transformers universe.
Yeah, specifically the aligned continuity.
Right. And I always kind of thought the whole Autobot Decepticon thing was, pretty simple. Good guys, bad guys.
Hmm, that's the usual take.
But the sources we looked at for this, wow, they just completely flipped that script. We're going to unpack this surprising and, frankly, deeply complex societal structure.
That's right. It seems this structure is actually what kicked off their epic civil war.
Exactly. Our sources show that Cybertron, the Transformers homeworld, wasn't always this war zone.
No, it started with a kind of golden age, apparently. But beneath that shiny surface, a really rigid, almost inescapable class system was taking root.
Okay, so that's our mission today, right? To understand how this functionist system, as they called it, how it dictated everything based on your alt mode,
Yeah, how it created this huge systemic inequality.
and how that directly sparked the whole conflict between Optimus Prime and Megatron. You'll really see how a war for freedom can actually be born from these deep societal cracks.
It's a fascinating, if grim, backstory.
So let's dig into that, this golden age. Guided by the Cybertronian Senate, this deity Primus. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
How did it take such a dark turn? Where did this functionist system come from?
Well, the sources suggest it wasn't like flipping a switch. This rigid caste-based hierarchy, it developed over time, during the age of the primes, specifically.
Right.
And what's really wild and kind of chilling is that it wasn't just social, it was ontological.
Ontological, that sounds serious. What does that actually mean for, a transformer?
It means your alternate mode wasn't just your job description, it was your entire existence, your very being.
Wow.
Yeah, you were essentially born or built, I suppose, into your role. Specific parts, software, transformation cogs, all designed for that purpose.
So from the moment you're created, you're told this is who you are, this is your worth, based on whether you turn into a microscope or a spaceship.
Exactly. And you can see how that would just inevitably lead to this deeply ingrained, institutionalized inequality. Your form literally determined your destiny. There wasn't much escaping it.
Okay, that's heavy. So if your alt mode locked you in, what did this social ladder actually look like? Who was on top and who was, stuck at the bottom?
We can kind of break it down into three main tiers. Our sources give some pretty clear examples.
All right.
At the top, you had the high castes, the elite classes. These are your decision makers, your intellectuals.
Like the Senate.
Yep, senators, high counselors. Think figures like Alpha Trion, the ancient archivist, hugely important historically.
Yeah, okay.
Then you had scientists and inventors,
Huh.
people like Shockwave, actually, or Perceptor. Their brain power gave them high rank.
Makes sense. Knowledge is power.
And then a really rare honored caste, the city speakers, like Windblade. They could talk directly to the massive titans like Metroplex. Super important ability.
Wow. Okay. So that's the top tier. What about the middle, this sort of backbone of their society?
Right, the middle castes. This tier had a lot of the essential roles. You had the warrior class.
Ah, like Optimus. Wasn't he Orion Pax then?
Exactly. Orion Pax started here. Ultra Magnus too, though Optimus obviously grew beyond that initial role.
Right.
Then transport and logistics. That's where you find bots like Bumblebee, Clipjumper maybe, couriers, supply chains, that kind of thing.
Movers and shakers, literally.
Yeah. Medics too, like Ratchet. Highly respected, definitely needed, but often overworked.
I can imagine.
Archivists, like Orion Pax was originally. Keeping track of everything. And even communication specialists like Soundwave. Despite maybe humble origins, you could be competent and loyal in this tier.
Okay, so a lot of familiar names in that middle ground. What about the Foundation, the low castes? Who ended up there?
Yeah, the laborers. They were the foundation, but they definitely faced the brunt of the system's harshness.
Like who?
Miners, for one.
Right.
Absolutely essential for Cybertron's energy, for Energon. And it's really striking that Megatron himself started as a miner in the Canaan region, which sounds pretty bleak.
Megatron was a miner.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Then you had sanitation, maintenance workers. Often bots with non-combat alt modes got lumped in here.
Seen as less useful, maybe?
Probably. And then maybe the most brutal category, the gladiators.
Ah, the games in K-On!
Exactly. Technically low caste, but they were this huge spectacle watched by everyone. And that's where Megatron really made his name, rose to prominence.
A strange kind of fame.
Definitely. And interestingly, even someone like Rung, a psychoanalyst, was considered low caste or sort of hidden away, maybe seen as less functional. Even though, later revealed to be part of Primus himself.
So it's clear this system wasn't just unfair, it was volatile, just waiting for a spark.
Absolutely. And that brings us to Megatronus.
Right. Miner, poet, then gladiator.
Yeah.
How does he become the face of a revolution against this incredibly entrenched system?
Well, the Functionist ideology, it wasn't just unfair, it led to real systemic abuse. Discrimination was rampant, constant surveillance, even forced modifications.
Reformatting bots. Yeah, if they didn't fit their assigned function, reformatting them against their will.
That's horrifying.
It is. And Megatronus saw all this, lived it. He started writing these incredibly powerful political essays.
Not just complaining, but actually arguing for change.
Exactly. Advocating for equality, for dignity, for free will, for every Cybertronian, no matter what they turned into. His movement, which eventually became the Decepticons, it started as a genuine push for liberation.
Wait, so, hang on. The Decepticons didn't start out as the bad guys. They began as a fight for justice. That changes everything.
That's such a crucial point from the sources. The movement's origins were in liberation, directly challenging that whole oppressive functionist structure.
But obviously something went wrong.
It did. Like many revolutionary movements, maybe the ideology radicalized, the passion turned into something else. Megatronus became Megatron.
And the revolution turned into war.
Devastating civil war, yeah. And that's the core philosophical split you see in the aligned continuity. You have Optimus Prime, who believed in reform, in cooperation, trying to fix the system from within.
And Megatron.
He came to believe the whole system was so corrupt, so broken, that only violent revolution could tear it down completely. No compromise.
Man, this goes so much deeper than just robots fighting. There are some huge philosophical questions tangled up in this.
Absolutely. It's not just pew-pew lasers. One of the biggest themes is function versus free will.
Right, the whole basis of the caste system.
Exactly. It's built on this deterministic idea.
Yeah.
Your alt mode is your purpose. End of story. But then you have characters like Orion Pax,
Billed as an archivist.
who chooses to become a warrior, a leader, defying what he was supposedly built for. It's that fundamental question, are you what they made you, or are you who you choose to be? Challenges that whole idea of predestination.
Yeah, definitely. And Megatron's arc just screams oppression and rebellion, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. His rise from the mines, becoming this powerful orator, then a militant leader. It mirrors so many real-world revolutionary figures.
Driven by that real desire for liberation.
But it also shows that danger, right? How that drive, even when it starts from a just place, can overshoot. It can become radicalized, lead to new forms of tyranny. He fought for freedom, but ultimately sought to impose his own will.
And then there's Optimus Prime. He kind of represents transcending form, maybe.
That's a great way to put it. He proved that nobility, leadership, it wasn't about being built for it or belonging to a high caste. It was earned through actions, through choices, through protecting others.
His function didn't define his character.
Exactly. His leadership came from his moral core, his willingness to sacrifice. And if you pull back even further, you see how both sides eventually grapple with the corruption of power. Well, even ideas born from justice. Whether it's the Autobots trying to maintain order, maybe clinging to remnants of the old ways, or the Decepticons trying to tear everything down. Both paths can lead to new problems, new forms of oppression, justifying extreme violence.
So it raises that uncomfortable question. Can any side truly escape the shadow of the system they were fighting, even if they win?
It's a tough one. And it suggests maybe not easily.
So even after the war started, did these old class divisions still, echo through the conflict?
Oh, absolutely. The sources are clear on that.
Yeah.
That deep resentment among the lower castes, that was major fuel for Decepticon recruitment.
Gave Megatron a really powerful personal message.
Exactly. They ignored you, they abused you. Join me and we'll take what's ours. It resonated. And on the flip side, a lot of Autobots probably struggled with the guilt.
And guilt? How?
Well, having been part of, or at least beneficiaries of that old system, even if they weren't actively oppressing anyone, they lived within it.
Yeah.
There's a moral weight there.
So the whole war, in a way, is Cybertron dealing with its past, a kind of reckoning.
It's definitely presented that way. A massive, civilization-wide reckoning with its caste sins, you could say.
Huh.
Even in shows like Transformers, Prime, where maybe they don't spell out functionism constantly,
Right.
it's still the essential backstory. It explains why the divisions are so deep, why the distrust runs so strong, why their world is so completely shattered by war. adds this incredible weight to everything.
Wow, what a deep dive this has been. So you really get a full picture now of how Cybertron's Functionist system wasn't just some background detail.
No, it was the root cause, the fundamental reason for the Transformers Civil War.
It totally reframes it. It's not just good versus evil anymore. It's about this deeply ingrained inequality, this fight for free will.
And the really dangerous paths that revolutions can take, even ones that start with good intentions.
We've seen how characters like Megatron and Optimus embody such different reactions to that oppression.
Yeah, and how the war itself is this long, painful shadow cast by a society that completely lost its way, tangled in its own rules.
And it leaves us, and you listening, with a really big question to chew on, I think. What does it really mean to choose your own destiny, especially when society, from the moment you exist, tries to tell you exactly who you are and what you're for?
And maybe, can any society ever truly escape the ghosts of its past injustices, even long after the fighting stops?
Something to think about.